My name's Frank McCormick. I'm a high school history teacher in the largest high school in Illinois. I'm sick of watching schools lie to the American people. I'm going to expose my school district to show the American people what critical race theory looks like in education, and to illustrate their absolute dishonesty. I recently appeared on Fox News to talk about CRT in education. Not long after, a school board member in my district went on Facebook to publicly accuse me of being hate-motivated, doing the work of racism, and misinforming the public. So I have a choice to make. Option A, I stop this, I try to explain to her I'm not any of these things, I apologize and try to save my job and my pension. Then there's option B, expose her, expose my school district, burn my career to the ground, let's go Brandon. I choose option B, so let's go. Here's an email between a DEI consultant and my district's director of equity and inclusion. Here, critical race theory was specifically cited for a review and application. Maybe Ms. Gonzalez wasn't aware of that email. You know, I'm misinforming the public. She obviously doesn't support critical race theory in the classroom. Oh, but wait, someone sent me private messages from her. In history classes, critical race theory should be introduced. I would definitely encourage it being introduced at the high school level. Whoops. Now let's look at what's going on in classrooms at my district. Students modeled the Black Panthers 10-point program to make their own 10-point program for a marginalized group. In literature class, students are asked to compare how South African apartheid compares to racism in America today. Here, Ibram Kendi stamped from the beginning is used in a U.S. history class. Studying cultural appropriation. A lesson objective requiring students to analyze the relationship between systemic racism, implicit bias, and mass incarceration. A lesson objective asking students to analyze the relationship between slave patrols, policing, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Yeah, that's real. Literature class is reading the Black Lives Matter-inspired novel, The Hate U Give. This book makes a comparison between slave masters and the police. Here's a fun one. Students were taught what social systems and social structures are. The example the teacher chose? The prison industrial complex is a system designed to keep white people in power to use black people as a source of unpaid labor. What? You know what? Forget it. One thing you may notice about these lessons and activities is they never ask the students, is there a relationship? It's, what is the relationship? It's basically teachers saying, here are my political beliefs, prove they're true. It's not a student's job to validate their teacher's political ideology. What I've just shown you is teaching through the lens of critical race theory. It's teaching through the assumptions that critical race theory is based upon. That America is systemically racist and that racism is not aberrative but normative. So a lot of times we hear that critical race theory isn't taught in schools. That's kind of true. The theory isn't taught. It's like the scientific method. When you go visit your doctor, he doesn't talk about the scientific method. He doesn't write about it. He uses it in his practice. Same thing here. So, who is the one misinforming the community now? You know, for 99% of teachers, calling them racist, calling them hate-motivated would have them begging for their jobs to be saved. They'd come crawling back, they'd beg for forgiveness. They'd say, I'm sorry, I'm not any of those things. I deny it, I recant. Not me. I'm not playing these games anymore. I've been quiet for 10 years. I refuse to spend one more day in silence. I've chosen to speak out because the public deserves to know what's going on. As a history teacher, I can tell you that this type of racial demagoguery only ends in tragedy. Racial identitarianism and the stratification of society into oppressed classes and oppressor classes are spells that once conjured cannot be controlled. That these ideas are being implanted in young minds is extremely dangerous. It's an abuse of the power and authority we vest in teachers. It's political grooming. If teachers don't speak out, if we don't stop this, it is going to create a social storm that will tear this country apart.